What if I told you that your entire life has been a lie? That everything you believe about the world and about yourself is nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion? A web designed not to enlighten you, but to keep you trapped in a dream you never chose. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is a truth the great sages have understood for millennia. Yet it has been hidden from you by a world that benefits from your blindness. The Hindus called it Maya, the veil that hides the true face of reality. Plato described it through the allegory of the cave prisoners, chained since birth, seeing only shadows on a wall, convinced that those fleeting shapes were all there is to life. But now I ask you, what if you too are one of those prisoners? And more importantly, who profits from your chains? The Matrix is real, but it is not made of machines or wires. It is built from ideas, from stories handed to you so early that you never thought to question them. Go to school, get good grades, find a job, pay your bills, retire, die. This is the script written for you. And the moment you dare step outside of it, society labels you irresponsible, unrealistic, a dreamer. Meanwhile, the system feeds on your compliance. It needs you alienated, distracted, exhausted, endlessly consuming, so that you have no energy left to ask why. Social media floods your mind with noise. News broadcasts saturate you with fear, and you continue to spin on a wheel, believing that someday the reward will come, yet that day never arrives. Listen carefully. If this message has reached you now, it is because you are ready to awaken. Deep inside, you already sense the truth. You have felt the emptiness that no job, no possession, no fleeting pleasure could ever fill. You can try to drown it in work, lose yourself in entertainment, numb it with endless distraction, but it remains. That void is not a flaw, it is a signal. It is your soul calling you home. The ancients knew this. The Egyptians, the Greeks, the shamans of the earth, the wise of the East all spoke of the illusion of the physical world and the necessity of awakening. But their wisdom was stripped away, replaced with a cold materialism that measures truth only by what can be bought or sold. The result is clear. Millions living on autopilot, convinced that meaningless hustle and quiet despair are normal life, but this is not normal. It never was. And now that you have seen a glimpse of the truth, you cannot pretend otherwise. Stay with me until the end, because I will show you exactly how the great sages understood this secret, and more importantly, how you can use it to transform your reality now. Notice the pattern of your life. You wake up, reach for your phone, scroll without thinking, rush into your day carrying a weight you cannot name. Before the morning even unfolds, you are already trapped, already living out a script you did not consciously choose. You wake up each day and find yourself thinking the same thoughts, carrying the same worries, trapped in the same emotions. It feels like you are living inside a movie you've watched so many times that you already know how it will end. And yet you continue moving forward, believing that somehow, one day, everything will miraculously change. But what if I told you that this sense of repetition, this endless cycle, is not an accident? What if the feeling of being stuck was never a random failure, but a system carefully designed to keep you exactly where you are? The truth is, your mind is a pattern machine. It repeats what it knows. If you grew up hearing that life is hard, that money only comes through suffering, that love inevitably leads to pain, then those ideas have been etched into your subconscious like sacred scripts. You might wish for a different life, even dream of a better reality. But something deeper always pulls you back, because your mind is not built to prioritize your happiness. It is built for survival. And survival, in the language of your mind, means clinging to the familiar, even if that familiar territory is full of pain, scarcity, and frustration. The worst part is you don't even realize that you are keeping yourself trapped. Every time an old wound resurfaces, your reactions are automatic fear, anxiety, resentment, self-pity. These emotions replayed like a programmed loop, because that's exactly what they are. Programming installed long ago, still running your internal software without your consent. That's how the victim narrative is born. You start to tell yourself that life hurt you, that opportunities were stolen from you, that people betrayed you, that you were dealt an unfair hand. And soon, without even noticing, you begin to define yourself by your traumas. Pain becomes a part of your identity, a permanent badge you carry into every new day. But here lies the real trap. When you see yourself as a victim, you give away your power. You hand over control of your destiny to forces outside of you, the government, the economy, luck, other people. And as long as you believe that narrative, you remain exactly where you are, stuck. This is not an accident. It's exactly how the system wants it. Because people who believe they are powerless do not create, they do not question, they do not transform. They only survive. And when millions are stuck in survival mode, exhausted from endless routines, drowning in bills, paralyzed by fear and despair, the system thrives. It gives you the illusion of progress, pushing you to work harder, chase success, strive for an ever-moving finish line. You run to earn a better salary so you can buy more things, only to fall deeper into debt. You keep running, but you never arrive. You mistake motion for meaning. You are caught inside what they call the rat race, the endless wheel where the hamster believes he's moving forward, when in truth he's running in place. Now look honestly at your own life. You work to pay bills that keep you tethered to work. You chase happiness in tiny doses a weekend, a new gadget, a brief distraction only to return to the same hollow cycle. You are busy, but you are not moving forward, and that's exactly how they designed it. What would happen if you stopped? If you dared to question the wheel? The system doesn't want you to. It keeps you entertained, tired, distracted, believing that this is all there is, because if you ever saw the truth, if you realize the race itself is an illusion, then everything would collapse, and the secret that the wise have always known would no longer be hidden. But what if I told you that this secret has already been revealed? That thousands of years ago, great masters tried to show us the way out. Long ago, the great masters tried to open humanity's eyes. They warned us that the endless race, the illusion of control, the persistent feeling of emptiness, all of it is nothing but a mental game. Yet few people understood. Fewer still were ready. Across different eras and cultures, figures like Jesus, Buddha, Socrates, and Hermes Trismegistus all taught the same core truth, though wrapped in different language and traditions. The world you see is not the real world. You are trapped inside an illusion, but there is a way out. Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is within you, yet humanity, blinded by conditioning, kept searching outside in temples, in churches, in spiritual leaders, always waiting for someone else to deliver salvation, never realizing that the treasure they sought was already inside. Buddha revealed that suffering arises not from the external world, but from within, from attachment, from desire, from fear. These invisible chains are what bind us to endless cycles of pain. But who truly listened? Who understood that the key to freedom was never in reshaping the world outside, but in transforming our own perception? Socrates relentlessly questioned everything, dismantling the comfortable certainties people clung to. He understood that true wisdom is not about accumulating more knowledge. It is about unlearning, about daring to ask whether everything you've been taught might be a carefully woven lie. And Hermes Trismegistus, the father of hermetic philosophy, spoke with even greater clarity. As within, so without, as above, so below. He taught that the external world does not happen to you. It happens through you. Your reality is a mirror of your inner state. Change the inside, and the outside must follow. Yet throughout history, these teachings were distorted, buried beneath dogmas, rituals, and prohibitions. The truth was not lost, it was hidden, because an awakened being, someone who knows the truth, cannot be controlled. This is where sacred and esoteric texts come into focus. The Gospel of Thomas, one of the earliest writings attributed to Jesus but excluded from the official canon, contains a radically different message than what was later preached. It says, "If you bring forth what is within you will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, What you do not bring forth will destroy you. In these words lies the ultimate revelation. Everything you seek is already within you. The secret to transformation has never been external. Hermetic teachings echo the same truth. The Emerald Tablet speaks of transmutation, the art of turning lead into gold. But this was never about physical alchemy. It was about mental alchemy, taking the heaviness of a mind burdened with limiting beliefs and forging from it a consciousness that is pure, elevated, and awakened. Even modern science, despite its resistance, has begun to stumble upon the truths the ancients knew. Quantum physics has shown that reality is not fixed, that subatomic particles change their behavior based on the act of observation, that consciousness itself influences the physical world. This is not mysticism, it is empirical evidence. The observer effect, studied rigorously in laboratories, proves that perception shapes reality, which means your life, your experiences, your destiny have always been within your control. They just didn't want you to realize it. Once you realize that the power has always been within you, the chains fall away. You are no longer a prisoner. Yet even after glimpsing the truth that reality is not what it appears, there remains a final obstacle that keeps most people from truly waking up: their own mind. The moment you try to change, to step outside the old patterns, a flood of thoughts rises like a tidal wave. This is nonsense. This isn't for me. It's always been this way. What if I fail? What if everything goes wrong? These thoughts erupt automatically, like a conditioned reflex before you even have a chance to breathe. But here's the secret the ancients understood and that few today ever grasp. You are not your thoughts. The greatest illusion of the mental matrix is the belief that your mind is you, that every thought passing through your head is real, true, and final. But the mind is not a conscious entity. It is a survival mechanism, a system wired to react, to repeat what is familiar, to cling to the past and project fear into the future. And this is the very reason you suffer. The conditioned mind traps you in endless loops, replaying old wounds, resurfacing old traumas, worrying about events that have not and may never happen. You become so entangled in these thought forms that you begin to define yourself by them, as if they were the truth of your existence. But what if you could simply step back? What if you could watch the mind working without being dragged under its current? Let me share a story. A disciple once approached his master, troubled. "Master," he said, "my mind will not stop. It torments me with thoughts of the past and fears of the future. How can I ever be free?" The master pointed to a river nearby. "Look at that river," he said. "It flows endlessly, does it not? But you are not the river. You are sitting on the bank watching it pass." The disciple stared, still confused. "But master, what about my thoughts?" The master smiled. "They are like the water, always moving. The problem is you jump in. You let yourself be carried by the current. You fight, you struggle, you drown. But if you simply sit on the bank and watch, the river will keep flowing, yet it will not carry you away. This is the key. Your mind will never stop generating thoughts. It is its nature, but you can choose not to be swept away. This understanding is at the heart of a profound teaching known as non-duality. Rooted in the philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, it reveals that the separate you, the identity built from memories, beliefs, and traumas, is an illusion. You have clung to a self-image, believing it was real, when in truth it was just a story. True freedom comes when you recognize that you are not the mind, not the ego, not the story. You are the one who observes, and when you stop identifying with the endless stream of thoughts, something remarkable happens. You return to the present moment, and the present is the only reality that exists. Think about it. Where is the past? It lives only in memory. Where is the future? It exists only in imagination. The only true moment is now, yet the mind does everything it can to distract you from realizing this. Because when you are fully present, the mind loses its grip. In the now, you are not haunted by what was, nor fearful of what may be. You simply are. And in that simple state of pure presence, all suffering dissolves. The tragedy is that we were taught from birth to live everywhere except here. But notice, right now in this very breath, everything is okay. This is the doorway out of the mental matrix. This is where freedom begins. The mind constantly pulls us into yesterday and tomorrow, keeping us always busy, always distracted. But just for a moment, try to stop. Feel your breath. Listen to the sounds around you. In that silence, you begin to remember something profound. You are the creator of your life. And if you have realized that you are not your mind, that your thoughts are just a program looping endlessly, then we have arrived at a crucial threshold. Who, then, is truly in control of your life? The Matrix would have you believe that others are in control, that it's the government, the economy, your family, your past. But this is the greatest trap of all. The real prisoner is not the one chained in a cell. It is the one who believes they can never leave. Victim mentality is the true prison, and it is far more widespread than you think. You see it in those who always complain, who blame others for everything that happens to them. I am like this because I had a difficult childhood. I can't succeed because no one gives me opportunities. I've just never been lucky. These statements seem harmless, but they are not. They are spells self-fulfilling prophecies that shape reality itself. And here lies a truth the great masters always knew. You attract what you believe to be true. This is not superstition, it is a universal law. When you see yourself as a victim, your mind hunts for evidence to reinforce that belief. You notice only the obstacles, the betrayals, the closed doors. But when you assume full responsibility for your life, something extraordinary shifts. You begin to see opportunities. You stop waiting for someone else to save you. You understand that you are the architect of your experience. This is the essence of co-creation. You may have met people who seem blessed by fortune doors open for them. Synchronicities guide them. The right people appear at the right time. It looks like luck, but it's not. It's frequency. They vibrate in alignment with what they seek, and you can do the same. The tragedy is that most people wish to change their external world without changing their internal frequency. They want wealth but vibrate scarcity. They long for love but vibrate loneliness. They crave freedom but live in fear. Life does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. Free will is the great key. You can choose to remain trapped in the victim narrative, or you can accept the radical truth that everything you have experienced was drawn to you by your own vibration. This truth can be difficult to accept at first, but it is also your liberation. If you created your reality up to this point, you can recreate it anew. This marks the beginning of awakening. Leaving the matrix doesn't mean retreating to the mountains or isolating yourself from society. It means recognizing that you were never truly trapped. People often confuse awakening with enlightenment, but they are not the same. Awakening is only the first step. When Buddha attained enlightenment, it wasn't through divine lightning. It happened when he simply stopped seeking outside for what was always within. Jesus taught the same. The kingdom of heaven is within you, yet humanity has spent centuries looking toward the sky, waiting for salvation that was always nestled in the heart of every soul. Awakening doesn't make you perfect. It simply opens your eyes. You begin to see that your emotions are not you, your mind is not you. The stories you have carried about who you are supposed to be, they are not you. And for the first time, you begin to see the world as it truly is. But remember, awakening is not a single moment frozen in time. It is a continuous process, unfolding with every breath, every choice, every conscious step you take. Transformation does not require grand gestures. It begins with small, deliberate changes woven into the fabric of your daily life. The simple act of observing your thoughts without reacting is already a revolutionary step. Practicing presence, consciously choosing what to feel, what to say, what to believe. This is the real work of awakening. And when you awaken, reality shifts. You no longer live as you did before. You feel the difference deep within your being. The same situations that once threw you into turmoil now pass by like a breeze that barely touches you. What once irritated you, disturbed you, unsettled you, now simply fades away. You realize, perhaps for the first time, that you have always had a choice. The Matrix, the mental construct built to enslave you, desperately wants you to forget this truth. It needs you to run on autopilot, repeating cycles without question. But now that you have seen through the game, now that you have understood the design, can you truly go back to sleep? Awakening reconnects you with the sacred, with God, with the universe, with the cosmic order that lies beneath all illusion. Yet realizing the Matrix exists is only the first step. Seeing the trap is not the same as escaping it. And now the essential question emerges: how do you break free? The answer lies in deep programming. For years, your mind has been trained to operate like a machine, reacting automatically, consuming without discernment, surrendering your attention to external forces. Every morning you reach for your phone before even greeting the day. You flood your mind with useless information. You react again and again in the same predictable ways. And with every unconscious act, you reinforce the prison bars around your soul. If you truly seek freedom, you must reprogram your consciousness. The first and most essential key is inner silence. The Matrix thrives on noise, constant stimulation, endless distraction. Your mind has been hijacked, your energy scattered across 1,000 meaningless stimuli. But in the stillness, the truth reveals itself. This is why meditation is not merely a spiritual exercise, it is an act of rebellion. Begin simply. 5 minutes a day. Close your eyes. Observe your breath. Do not try to control it. Just notice. At first, your mind will resist. It will scream for your attention, pulling you back into old patterns. But persist. Over time, you will discover a sacred space between you and your thoughts. And in that space, freedom begins. Yet inner silence alone is not enough. You must also choose what feeds your mind. The second step is digital fasting. The system feeds on your attention. Every notification, every headline, every hollow argument drains your life force. You are being manipulated in ways you barely perceive. The only escape is to disconnect from the noise and return to your own energy field. Try it. A day without social media, then a weekend. Watch how your mind reacts. At first, you will feel restless, as if you are missing something vital. But soon you will realize the truth. What you were missing was your own life. Once you clear away what no longer serves you, you can begin to reprogram your mind with new, conscious beliefs. Remember, everything you believe about yourself, about money, about love, about success, about happiness was installed by a system that never wanted you to realize your true power. Now it's time to reclaim it. Use conscious affirmations. Speak the truth of your new reality. Write them down. Repeat them daily. I am free. I am prosperous. I am awake. Say them with conviction. Feel the vibration of the truth behind the words, because your future depends on it. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between reality and imagination. If you change your internal vibration, your external reality has no choice but to follow, because everything in the universe responds to the law of vibration. The frequency you operate on determines what you attract. When you vibrate fear, you summon situations that confirm and reinforce that fear. When you vibrate abundance, opportunities seem to appear everywhere you look. When you vibrate presence, you begin to experience life itself in a completely different way. And as you shift internally, the external world is compelled to shift with you. This is not philosophy. This is universal law in motion. Yet there is a deeper level to this journey. Beyond deprogramming habits and beliefs, beyond affirmations and rituals, lies the sacred task of remembering who you truly are. The Matrix has trained you to believe that only what you can touch, see, and measure is real. This limitation was designed to sever you from what truly matters, the mystery of existence itself. And here lies the difference between religion and authentic spirituality. Religion offers a closed system, a rigid path built on dogma and rules. Spirituality, on the other hand, is a voyage of discovery, an inward unfolding, a reconnection to the divine essence that has always dwelled within you. The ancients called this essence the Logos, the universal principle, the breath behind all creation. It cannot be explained. It can only be felt. It belongs to no single tradition, yet it lives within them all. Connecting to the sacred does not require elaborate ceremonies or distant temples. It happens in the simple silence of a conscious breath, in the warmth of sunlight on your skin, in the quiet awareness of the present moment. It is always here. It has always been here. But it can only be perceived once you release the illusion of separation. The false belief that you are distant from the divine. This is the greatest truth. You were never separate. You were only taught to believe you were. And once you realize this, truly realize it, your life is never the same again. Awakening is not merely a mental understanding. It is a transformation of your entire being, how you feel, how you see, how you move through existence. Now that you have seen the illusion, now that you have touched the truth, the only question that remains is, what will you do with it? Knowledge without action is empty. Many people awaken to this truth and yet continue living as they always have, trapped by fear of the unknown, tethered to old patterns. But you are no longer unconscious. You cannot unknow what you now know. If you apply even a fraction of this wisdom, your life will transform. Your energy will shift. People will notice. Opportunities will arise, not because magic intervened, but because you changed. And the world had no choice but to mirror that change. Yet do not expect perfection. Awakening does not shield you from challenges. It does not erase fear or doubt. It simply means that now, you know none of these things can define you. The paradox of awakening is that everything changes and yet nothing changes. The world remains what it is, but you see it through new eyes. You walk it with a new heart. And before you leave, there is something important waiting for you. I have prepared a special video, a deeper exploration to help you apply this wisdom practically in your life. Do not turn away now. Click the video on your screen, and I will meet you there on the other side.